Hello and welcome to this instructional video on how to download, install, and operate the Divine Will app in iPhone 11 or any other iPhone. Okay, first we're going to see how to download and install the Divine Will app. In order to download and install the Divine Will app, we're going to go in our iPhones, we're going to go to the App Store. I'm going to go ahead and click on the icon on the top left-hand corner of my screen where I have the App Store icon. That's going to launch the App Store application. And on the box, at the very top on the search box, I'm going to type in Divine Will. I've already typed that in, and what you see here are the results of typing the Divine Will, right? So you see the Divine Will, and then below it, the Book of Heaven. That's the app we want to install in our phone. If we wanted to look at the specifics of the app, you just kind of click on the Divine Will app, and right here you can see all the information on screen for the Divine Will app. As you can see, the Divine Will app says Book of Heaven. You know, if it's the first time you haven't installed it yet, instead of an open button, it will say install, and you'll have to go through the process of installation and so on. And so then you have below here, you have some of the screens of the app. As you can see on the first screen, we have the 36 volumes of the Book of Heaven. Then on the second screen, it shows us pictures of the Queen of Heaven book. Then we have a search the Book of Heaven by keyword. Then we have another screenshot that shows you the volumes and the text for each chapter. Then you have a section of Day Like Today, which shows all the chapters that fall on today's date with the respective text and graphics that you can open up and read. And then you have a section about learning through images, all the images that we have posted in the website and can be accessible now through the phone. Now, for example, right here, you can learn a little bit about this app. It says, this app will help you learn all about the gift of living in the divine will by the servant of God, Luisa Picoretta. It was created by the Fundación Hijos de la Luz, Inc., a not-for-profit foundation that promotes the cause of beatification of Luisa, as well as other projects to proclaim the truths of the kingdom of the divine will, so that the kingdom come and the divine will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Now, this is important. For each purchase of this app, the Fundación Hijos de la Luz, Inc. will give away a book of the Hours of the Passion, or the Queen of Heaven in the Kingdom of the Divine Will, to a priest or a religious. Your contribution makes known the Kingdom of the Divine Will. Thank you very much for your contribution. All right, so it shows you about the app. Then below here you have the ratings and reviews, which allow you to tap to rate. So I'm going to give it 5 stars right away. And you got to do the same as soon as you get the app, right? Just to keep the good numbers in the App Store, you know, and bring more people in, because we definitely all want to share the great gift of living in the divine will, right? And then you have more information about the seller, which is the Fundación, and you have the website that you can click on it, and it's going to take you to our website, you know, where you can learn more about. This is the Spanish page. You can have over here. You can go to the English page and see some of the documents we put there. We also put you know, blog. You can look at a blog from there. So going back here to the App Store, we see that there's other apps like the Divina Voluntad, which is the Divine Will in Spanish, the app in Spanish. This is the app in English. We have an app in Spanish. And then instead of the open button, you can click install. You're going to be able to download it. You're going to have to pay for it through iCloud using the app stores. And the cost of it is $9.99, you know, and like we said, we're gonna, with this contribution, we're gonna give a book away of the Hours of the Passion or the Book of the Virgin. So now I'm gonna click open, you know, so I can show you the application, you know, and you can stop the video here if you want to go ahead and install it, and then continue once the app can open. Okay, now on this section of the video, we're going to go ahead and install and open the app. Once you click install and the app is installed, you can click on open to open up the app. It might take a little longer than that since it is the first time you run it. But the first screen you'll see is the Book of Heaven screen, and you'll see tabs on the bottom, a tab for the Book of Heaven, a tab for the Hours of the Passion, a tab for the Queen of Heaven, and a tab for Settings. So we're going to look at what each of those tabs has. Now the first tab, the Book of Heaven tab, has volumes 1 through 36, then A Day Like Today, then by keyword, and then by image. This is all the chapters of the Book of Heaven displayed right here. I'm going to click on the first one, volume 1 through 36. And the first thing I see is has the volumes. There's volume 1 and then volume 2. And as I scroll down, I can see all the different chapters for each of the volumes, right? And I can scroll fast, or I can use my finger. If I place my finger on the right-hand side where you have those little numbers in blue, that's the index. I can click on the index, and that's going to jump me to the different chapters. So here I am in chapter 36. I can scroll down to chapter 46 of volume 36, December 28, 1938, and I can click on it. And that's going to bring up the text for that date, and I can read it right here, right? I'm going to go back. If I want to read something from volume 12, you just click on the 12 here on the right hand side. That's going to take you to volume 12. Okay, as you can see, we're running the app in dark mode. Your app, if you have your iPhone in light mode, then the app will appear in light mode, meaning that the words will be in dark and the background will be in white. So you have that ability to change that. But we're going to go into that a little bit later. That's part of a different section. I'm going to click on back at the very top so I can go back to the Book of Heaven. And then there's the next section is A Day Like Today. I'm going to click on the Day Like Today. It's going to give me a number of days. Usually today's date is currently the one in the center. June the 30th is today. I'm going to click on June 30th. That brings up all the chapters in the Book of Heaven for June the 30th. In this case, there's a few of them. One of them has a graphic. I'm going to click on this one. And that's going to bring the text for this particular day, and I can read it. Now, what's interesting, and what if you like to share this text, is as soon as you go into this window where you see all the text for the chapter, that is immediately copied into the clipboard. You can go, if you share the Book of Heaven through Facebook or some of the other social media apps, you can just immediately go to that other app and click paste. And then it'll paste all this text. It's really nice. It's really nice to share. And it'll add at the top Book of Heaven, so where the text is coming from. So it's really nice if you like to share things. And we should all go into the habit of sharing things, with our friends, with the people that we know, people that like the Book of Heaven, to enkindle them the fire of our Lord's love. All right, but this is June the 30th. This is A Day Like Today, right? So I'm going to go back now to the previous screen, which has the dates, and then go back to the Book of Heaven screen. Now it brings you to by keyword, right? That's the next section. I'm going to click on by keyword. And by default, it gives me a text search area right here, and then a list of all of the other elements. In this case, we have communion, Eucharist, fiat, fusing, knowledge. And in this screen, we can click on any one of these, and it's going to bring those chapters. And if they have a graphic, they'll bring the graphic in as well. About fiat, as you can see, many of them come from the Book of Heaven, of the Book of Our Lady, right? That has all these pretty pictures. So, but then you have all these other chapters that have fiat associated in it. As soon as you click on a chapter, you'll see the word fiat in some other color, or for some reason it's not showing the color. Maybe that's a bug, right? So most of the time you would see the word in a different color, and you'd be able to see where our Lord used the word fiat. For example, right here, and in the title it should be in red, but that might have changed because we introduced this other feature, which I'm going to show you in a moment. It's called text-to-speech, and it enables us to have the iPhone read back to you the text of the volume. So let me go ahead and do that since we're already in that topic. I'm going to click on play, and it's going to highlight. I need to have the button, the silent mode turned off in order to be able to hear it. Hang on a second, let me try this again. And maybe it's because I'm recording the screen that it doesn't work, but as soon as you run it in the app, just make sure the button on the top left-hand side of your phone is turned on, and make sure that the volume is up, right? If you do that, my volume is down right now. I can't, because I'm recording on this phone, it's not helping me, obviously. But we can try that later, okay? And I'll tell you more in settings. If you go to settings, you can change the settings of the text-to-speech. So you can look at that later. Now, so that's the keyword, right? The keyword allows you to see things by a certain keyword. I'm going to go back to the keyword page. I'm going to type, today, for example, is the Feast of the Holy Martyrs. So if I enter Holy Martyrs, right? And I do a search. Notice that when I click on the search, it doesn't do anything. That means it couldn't find the word Holy Martyrs in the Book of Heaven. So let's give it something simpler. Let's just give it martyrs. I'm going to click on search, and it's going to fill out the martyrs here on the bottom. You know, it's going to order this alphabetical order with the higher, upper caps on the top, and then the lower caps, on the bottom. When I click on martyrs, you see how many items we have on the martyrs list on the Book of Heaven. Now there's a number right here on the right hand side next to the arrow, right? That means how many instances the word martyrs shows on that chapter. And sometimes you'll have a chapter that's loaded with that word. In this case, most of them just have a single one. And unfortunately, in this case, for example, martyrdom, right? You see it right here on the text, the martyrdom of the privation of Jesus. So in this case, it's picking up martyr from the word martyrdom. So that's just, and unfortunately it doesn't show the highlight. But we're gonna fix that in the next version, right? So as you find things that you think that can be improved on, or things that you think that we can do in future versions of the app, send us an email. We'll be happy to address this issues, for you and make the application better. Okay, so that is the keyword. Now what happens if I click on the edit button? The edit button brings up this little list, right? That you can actually make your own. I can actually click on the minus pill right here to delete the martyrs, right? Or if you're in done button, it can just say, okay, so suppose I don't want anything communion, so I just slide my finger from right to left in communion, and the delete button comes up. I click on delete, it's gone. This list is going to be saved, right? Next time you run the app, you're going to find the same list. If you add new words to it, the new words will be added to the list, right? So that's how the edit button works. Okay, moving along now. So by image. The image is something new that we've added that contains the images for the images that we currently have, that are part of our website and that have been displayed in Children of the Light of the Divine Will in the Facebook page. And these are graphics that we've done over time, and essentially we use them to call people's attention and to drive the point home. It's beautiful. You see the website there is facebook.com/Children Divine Will. If you want to join, we'd be more than happy to have you there as well. It's one way to learn of the latest developments by the Fundación Hijos de la Luz, which we also have a Facebook in Spanish, which is Hijos de la Luz de la Divina Voluntad. So you can find us on Facebook as well. You can find us in the webpage, in our homepage. All right, so this is one way to learn about the chapters of the Divine Will, and I think it's very beautiful, and you can read them, read the pieces of the passage, and then you can just click on it and basically just have the ability to read the whole chapter, right? or to listen to it through text-to-speech. So that's all there is as far as the Book of Heaven is related. Now let's go to the next tab on the bottom, which is the hours of the Passion. Before we jump in there, there's one more thing about the image. The images load per month. So right now it's loading all the June images. When you move over to July, it's going to load the July images for you, right? So in 1 year, you'll have all the images available. Also, the images download into your phone from a server in the cloud. That means they're not stored on your phone, but they are served from a server that we have in the cloud, and that's also one of the things that we have to pay for in order to keep the application running. So your contribution, the donation, is actually keeping that server running. The server provides us the images. The images are stored there. And the images will only download into your phone when you're connected to a Wi-Fi network. If you're out on the street, and you have cellular access only, the application will work, but it will not try to download the images while you're out on the street, on the cellular network. That's to avoid having you use up all your data for your cellular plan, right? So we did that for you. So when we go now into the hours of the Passion, now you see the listing of all the hours, the preparation, the Thanksgiving prayer at the very top. You have the 24 hours of the Passion. You click on one of them, my favorite, the prayer to disarm the divine justice, and you can, read the whole lesson there. You scroll with your finger up and down, and you can always do the hours of the Passion with this. Like always, we recommend doing 1 hour of the Passion on a daily basis throughout the whole year. Next, we go into the Queen. The Queen is also another. All the text that comes from the Queen is from the Virgin Mary book in the Kingdom of the Divine Will. And there you see that day 2, day 3, day 4, all the steps that Our Lady took in order to live in the kingdom, right? And you have all these beautiful pictures associated with each day, right? And we have 36 lessons, right, from Our Lady. We have an appendix. And when you click on one of these, then you'll go to the text for that. Again, this also, wherever you see the triangle on the top, means that you can actually play the text-to-speech back, right? One of the nice things over here, when you're doing the Queen of Heaven, you do it on a 31 days continuous, right? You click on day 1, and once you read it, at the very end, you click on Mark Read. And this will actually tell the app that to put a little check mark right here on the left, so you know you've done day 1. So next time you come into the app and you say, I'm going to do day 2, then again, you read it, you click it, Mark Read, go back, now you set another check mark. So it makes it easy to track which day you're in. If you skip a day, just go back to the next available day, which is day 3, and do lesson 3, and so on and so forth. A future version of the app will have a way to clear all those check marks, so you can do the book all over again. All right. Now going over to the settings page, you see at the very top it has a language which is showing that's currently using English, the English text of the Book of Heaven, and then below you have text-to-speech, which gives you the possibility of changing the speech settings. What is read back to you on these different pages. And it gives you rate, which is the rate, the speed in which the text is read. So I find for myself 52 is not too fast and it's not too slow. If you wanted to make it go slow, you just click on, you reduce the number, right? If you wanted to make it go fast, you can make it go really fast, right? Now the pitch, which is like the tone of the voice. If you want to make it deeper, you scroll the scroll over to the left. If you want to make it, more higher, then you put it all the way to the right. And here's the volume. You have a volume control as well, right? And then you have the voice. Now the voice varies depending on what you have selected in your iPhone or iPad. This also runs on an iPad. But if the voice, if you come in here and you notice that there's a certain number of voices, there's Aaron and Fred and Nikki and Samantha and Alex. I find either Samantha or Victoria to be pretty good female voices, and Alex to be the best voice of all, the text-to-speech app. Now, in some instances, Alex needs to be downloaded, from the internet, in order to play it. Otherwise, it won't be in this list. How do you do that? Let's go quickly run over to the settings. Hang on a second. Let me to the settings from here. I just type settings from the app list. It brings up that settings, and you will have to scroll down until you get to accessibility, right? In accessibility, there's this item at the very top, voiceover. You click on voiceover, right? And below it, you see speech. So you click on speech, and then you click on voice. So you have to go like that, right? Notice that Alex on my screen is actually checkmarked. It is possible that Alex will have one of these little clouds with a little arrow going down, which means you need to download it. You can download, for example, Allison or Ava, or these are some of the other voices that are pretty good. Now you'll see that the better voices are the bigger voices. For example, the one Victoria is 1.7 megabytes. That's a big voice. That means it's a high quality voice. You can download Victoria. You see Tom is 466 megabytes, so it's a third of Victoria. Like Victoria is 137. I'm going to click on it, see if you can hear anything. But unfortunately not, because of the recording. You can't hear anything, right? But I recommend Alex and Victoria as the best elements there, of the best voices, all right? I'm going to go back into the app. I'm going to refresh the voice. I'm going to see one more time to see if Victoria comes up. See, now Victoria came up. I'm going to select Victoria. Now Victoria is the one selected. And if you want to hear the voice play, you can click on the play button. Again, it's not working because we're currently recording the screen. Now, if for any reason you change the settings and you kind of mess them up, that's why you have this reset button. You're going to click on the reset. It's going to bring it back down to the default values. It's going to make it easy. It's going to keep your Victoria. And then these settings will be saved every time you leave that screen, right? And that's it. Then you have the About Us, which is Fundación Hijos de la Luz, which will take us to our webpage. Our emails at the very bottom. info@hijosdelaluzdeladivinavoluntad.com if you want to get in touch with us, right? And that's it. That's it as far as the app is concerned. So you have the Book of Heaven, the Hours of the Passion, the Queen of Heaven, the settings, and so on. Now, let's go back to the settings page for a second. We are in dark mode. Let's change this over to light mode, right? And you have the display and text size as well. So let's go to display and text size, right? And notice that you can have larger text or smaller text. I'm going to turn this on, and I'm going to change the text. You see how if you have reading difficulties, you can make it bigger. When you go into the app, it'll be reflected right there. It'll change it. Say you think it's too small still, well, you can make it bigger, right? And it'll change the whole app. So you can see once you go in here, the graphics are not going to change, obviously, because that's a graphic. But all the rest of the text is going to change to the nice size. We'll change it back to that. All right. Now, that's in display and text size in the accessibility page. Now, I can also change the mode to light mode. Now, I know there's different ways of doing that, but the way I usually do it is right here. At the very bottom, you have this button, right? If you enter the control center, now everything's light mode. If you go over to the app, that's all in light mode, right? And you can always go back and change it same way. You come back in here and click this button. It's going to change it to dark mode. So now it's in dark mode. I find personally that I prefer the dark mode because it's easier on my eyes. All right, so without further ado, I think that's pretty much it for the application. I hope you can download it today and start reading the Book of Heaven, start doing some searches, looking at the images, doing the Queen of Heaven. We're planning on doing the consecration to the divine will, starting on July 15th, so that we finish on August the 15th, which is the Feast of the Divine Will and the Feast of Assumption of Our Lady into Heaven. So we're going to be accompanying her. I recommend that for you too. Okay, my friends, I hope you've enjoyed that. My name is Felipe. I'm the director of the Fundación Hijos de la Luz, Inc., and happy to bring this application to you. And I hope you'll share with your whole cynical, and the friends and your neighbors and everybody, so this app can get a lot of returns, and so we can keep it up running in the store and in the cloud.